What'd you think? You pick me?
Hi, PhilSTAR Live! I'm Aubrey and we're here at Quezon Memorial Circle para puntahan ang bagong Bahay Modernismo, pati na rin ang iba pang mga museong katabi nito. So, tara? Museum hopping? Let's go!
And we're here at our first stop, the NHCP Museo ni Manuel Quezon, the second president of the Philippines and the father of our national language. Now, Manuel Quezon, he kept pushing the US government then for greater autonomy and eventually independence for the Philippines. So inside this museum, we're going to see 5 galleries, each documenting significant parts or ages of his life as well as his eventual emergence as a leader of the Philippines. Tara, let's go!
So the museum tour kicks off right here, gallery number 1, where we find out more about Manuel Quezon's childhood, we get to learn more about the boy from Baler, we get
Photos, we get information, infographics, photos, say, from Baler in the 1930s. We also have a picture of his father right over here,
as well as the house where Manuel Quezon was born. And apart from that, we also have information on his education.
We find out, or rather we found out that he was actually summa cum laude when he went to college. Summa cum laude. That's crazy.
So from his childhood years and educational achievements, we now move on to his years in public service, which we will find here in Gallery 2. And that's not the only thing we could find. They also have a specific exhibit for his wife, Doña Aurora Quezon.
There is an entire exhibit of her memorabilia. It's a gallery. Let's check it out. So si Manuel L. Quezon, he's known as father of our national language, which makes sense na yung mga nakalagay dito would be written in Filipino. But say you're a foreigner and you still want to get some information from all of this, you want to be able to enjoy the exhibit as well, not to worry, all you just gotta do is flip. And it's in English.
So now we're here at the third gallery, which focuses on the Commonwealth government. Here you could also find his office. This is his setup.
You know, another thing that's really cool is that in this museum is a Time magazine. There's a record that I think this is his march, right? The President Quezon march. So it's actually pretty cool that we have these, I don't know if we could call it artifacts, memorabilia. They just going to show that yes, it is history, but at the same time, it's not too far back.
And now we're currently in gallery number 4. Dito naman tungkol siya sa Philippines during the Second World War. Let's say for example, tingnan mo sa Zambales.
Some pirate presses, but right here, ilaw dapat isa may Zambales.
We have reached the final gallery of the museum, which is about Quezon's death and legacy. So, the shrine was designed by Federico Illustre, and it's very likely one of the main symbols that will come into your head when you think of Quezon City. That very tall landmark that stands at the heart of Quezon Memorial Circle, it's right here. So, this museum is actually a shrine. This is the Quezon Memorial Shrine, where you can find the remains of former President Manuel Quezon right over here, as well as the remains of his wife right over there. Si Doña Aurora Quezon.
Now, if personal details and historical facts are not really your cup of tea, our next stop would probably be more your speed. Welcome to my garage. The job lang. But we are at the NHCP Presidential Car Museum, where we can find all the cars used by the former president of the Philippines. These cars used to be displayed in various parts of the country, but they were all preserved, conserved, and they are now placed in this area for our viewing pleasure. Also, fun fact, each car is like a symbol or an extension of the owner's personality.
Yes. I'm telling you, para akong Tony Stark. Hold up, look at this.
So apparently this is like some sort of an interactive wall that they have here wherein you could just press any icon. You could press any icon here if you want to learn more about it. For example, what goes into a presidential car to ensure that the president are protected.
Ang pagtaong sasakyan ay binabalutan ng maraming grada tulad ng tinig na pintura, mga dekad at aluminium. Ang ilalim naman ay mga grada ng balistik na bakal, titanium, armor max, polyfilm, at polycarbonate.
So this huge structure that you see behind me is the Quezon Heritage House, which is our third stop for the day. This is the weekend home of former President Quezon's family. The actual weekend home was located in Gilmore, New Manila. But according to our tour and according to the site, 60% of the house's interiors were preserved here. So this is pretty much 60% of the same thing. So for example, these tiles are the Machuca tiles, actual tiles used in the actual weekend home of the Quezons. So let's go in.
Wow!
So, si former President Quezon, he had tuberculosis. And at the time, there was no proper cure for tuberculosis. So, one of the ways that the family Quezon thought was to ensure that the house has proper ventilation. So, this is Doña Aurora's room. And there's actually this pretty cool tidbit that we learned. If we were to go over there, then we go straight here to Quezon's personal nurse's room. And over there is Quezon's room. It's one whole straight line. This kind of structure, this kind of setting, if you will, would allow Doña Aurora to still watch over Quezon.
And this is the dining room. So when Quezon would come back from work, or if he was feeling really stressed, then he pushed all of this aside and turned this whole place into a dance floor. Fun fact, former President Quezon very sensitive to smells, which is why this room exists. So this is called the preparation room. So the system was, they would prepare food downstairs, and then they would bring the food up here. Personally, my favorite part of the tour is this spiral staircase. Quick tip though, count the number of steps on these staircases. They hold a pretty significant meaning. It's related to their birthdays.
Now, another significant thing about the Heritage House is that it houses the room wherein the Philippine Red Cross was established.
This very room right here, where Donna Aurora became the very first chairperson of the Philippine Red Cross following the passing of former President Manuel Quezon. At ayan, malapit na matapos ang tour natin dito sa Quezon Memorial Circle. But we have one more museum to visit, and that is the latest Heritage Museum in the Circle. Let's go!
And now, a couple of steps away from the Quezon Heritage House stands the newest Heritage Museum here in Quezon Memorial Circle. This is Bahay Modernismo, which opened its doors to the public last May 30. Let's check it out. Well, it is said that Quezon City is pretty much the starting point of modernity here in the Philippines. This is the living quarters. You could see that there is, well, a centerpiece table right over here. We have some sofas, we have some couches, and right over there is actually a TV, like the old style TVs. And another cool thing about this museum is that it's interactive. You could sit on the chairs here. Now, shh, my favorite show is on. Now, one thing you should keep in mind about the 50s is that it was really dominated by the idea of space and futurism.
Welcome to the modern Filipino kitchen. As you can see from here, we have replicas of the, Tupperware, the ingredients, the items that would usually be found in a typical 50s kitchen. Oh, well, the stew is almost ready. I'll be with you guys in just a bit. How about you guys wait over there in the entertainment room? I'll be with you guys in just a bit. Ow. Pretty groovy, huh? This is the entertainment room where you could find tons of memorabilia of, it's actually a mix of actual records and some not necessarily from the 50s, but inspired by the 50s. We even have a vinyl player right over here. So this is the men's room. Well, there really isn't such thing as a men's room, but this area was placed just to show, I suppose, the dynamic of how men's role in the Filipino family back then in the 50s. They were expected, of course, to be the breadwinners of the family. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some work I have to get to, so go. Right over here is the kids' room. Now, one thing you should know about the 50s is that it is defined by the emergence of what we know as the baby boomers or the baby boomer generation. And right over there is the teenagers' room. Now, one thing that the tour guide told us was that the 50s, at least here in the Philippines, was marked by expression, artistic creativity, exploration, and to some extent for the youth, rebellion. What'd you think? It fit me? And that concludes our mini museum hopping date around Quezon Memorial Circle. So all of these museums, by the way, they're open from Tuesday to Sunday. They're operating from those times from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and they're all free of charge. Personally, I really enjoy Bahay Modernismo because not only is it like stepping into a time capsule, but it's interactive. But what about you? Do let us know which of the museums you like the most, which ones you would like to visit. Comment them down below and we'll see you in our next video. Bye! Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to PhilSTAR Life on YouTube and to follow all of our social media sites for more updates. All right, bye-bye for real!